God bless you. Blessings to you. Today we are talking about getting to know each other. Getting to know each other. That is the topic for today. Now, when we are looking at this topic, I want to break it down into two parts. The first part is getting to know each other, or rather handling each other. And the second part is handling other people. So there are two parts to this topic. There's handling each other, and then there is handling other people. So starting with handling each other. You are now married. You are now together. You are staying together. You are waking up next to each other. You are now married officially, right? This is happening. You've made a choice to say, I'm now with him or I'm now with her. You must understand that the person who your wife is or your husband is before you're officially together, and who they are when you're officially together, is different. The question is different how? If you are seeing each other as boyfriend and girlfriend for moments and going back home, it's different now from the person you're going to be with every single day, every single night. You are waking up to who she is in the morning. You are sleeping to who she is in the night. You are spending time with who she is in the day. So now, these are the people who probably you only knew occasionally when you were still dating. As long as you're now living together, you're now officially together. Let's talk about this. So, when you are just meeting someone and they come, they visit you, then they go back home, or they visit you for a certain moment and then they go back. Either way, you are not always together. So because you're not always together, there are high chances whatever you know is 50% of who she or he truly is. I know women who were married to the most romantic men when they were dating. The moment they married, they discovered, I've never met such a monster in my life. There are women, there are men who thought she was an angel when they were dating. They are with her in the home, they discover, I have never seen such a person in my entire life. There is a new person who then manifests when you're officially with the person. So, the thing is, as long as someone is visiting you and going back, or being with you for a moment and going back, they can afford to carry around a mask. They can afford to be in disguise. They can afford to show you 50% of who they are, because you are not together officially, you are not forever. You are temporarily seeing each other. So she can give you the person you want to be with in the day. But do you know what she's like in the night? Do you know what she's like with other people? But anyway, for now, we're going to talk about the mask that falls off with time. You understand? When you're still in a stage of impressing each other, girl wants to impress boy, boy wants to impress girl, you're impressing each other. So because of that, you're keeping yourself in a place where she's seeing you looking good, he's seeing you looking good. You are in that zone, you're in that space where you are sure, you are always in this mask, in this pretense moment, because it's a moment. So you are seeing your boy, you are seeing your girl, but she's making sure before she sees you, she's prepared. Before you see her, you name it, you are prepared. But now, when you are officially together, the mask falls off with time. You are discovering this person snores in the night. I'm not saying that's the case in every marriage. You are discovering this person has certain habits and behaviors in the night. This you did not know because you were just seeing him as your boyfriend. You see, you were just having a moment with him and then you go back home. You spend the day with him and then he goes back home. So there is a night character you don't know about. Or you're talking about a moment that maybe you just spent one night together, or a few moments. These can be altered. A person can adjust, they can pretend for as long as it takes. But when you're officially together now, the mask begins to fall off. That's what we want to talk about. Now, because you are together, who she truly is in the night. In the early stages, there can be pretense. He can do his best to be as clean or smart or lovey-dovey as possible because they're still in the early days. It's still a romantic stage. You're still in the honeymoon phase. So there's a lot of pretense that's involved in the honeymoon phase because you're keeping up an appearance. But with time, every mask eventually disappears. It falls off. With time, the true husband will show up. The true wife will show up with time. Usually when the truth begins to be revealed, that's when most people struggle and they don't make it. Because the truth now is really coming on. You did not know these things about him. You did not know these things about her. So when the mask begins to fall off with time, because you're now married, the mask that he was showing you when he was just trying to get to you, when the mask she was showing you when she was trying to impress you, the mask falls off with time and the truth begins to come out. So the truth now, as it is coming out, as it is manifesting, this truth, where she then breaks into who she truly is, or when he just snaps into who he truly is, when that truth comes out, in moments they can be still adjusting the truth, then the truth comes out, then they suppress it, it comes out, they suppress it, it comes out, and then with time they get tired. You see, the girl gets tired, the boy gets tired. With time, you are tired of the pretense or whatever is fake. You then just have to reveal who you truly are, what you truly are. In those moments now when the truth is coming out, that's where most couples don't make it. Because there is some truth that is a very bitter pill to swallow. But it's now out. And you're like, why didn't he tell me before we got married? Or why didn't she tell me before we were married? These things are now appearing in the journey of being together. So you're discovering each other now. You're discovering revelations are happening now. You are flowing. You see, the truth is coming out. This truth involves sexuality, people, character, everything. These are things that begin to manifest, finances and all that. They manifest, the truth comes to the ground with time. You don't just handpick it. People can pretend only for a certain space of time. So now when the truth comes out, you're in a place of saying, do I want this? Or this is nonsense. I cannot keep on going. When the truth comes out, you're in a place of saying, should I stay? Should I keep going? But you now know the truth about your husband. You now know the truth about your wife. It's in this truth that most marriages break. They snap. You did not know he was like that. You did not know she was like that. When the truth comes out. So, let's build now in getting to know each other. As you are getting to know each other, you are officially married. Let's build in that, getting to know each other. Now, as you are growing to know each other, as you are developing to know each other, remember these words. Conversations govern marriages. Conversations govern marriages. Every marriage is wired around conversations. In these conversations, that's where there is truth, that's where there is lies, that's where there is anger, that's where there is everything is in the conversations. That's where there's complaining. Conversations govern marriages. So if one of you in a marriage has the wisdom on conversations, they can sustain the marriage even when it's about to die. Because they know what to say, what not to say. How to say, how not to say. When both of you are ruled by emotions, and you just believe because it's happening, it should be said. Because I'm feeling it, because I'm pissed, I should say this. The moment you're foolish in the conversation area, your marriage won't stand, no matter what. So, there are cases where maybe both people are extremely intelligent on conversation there, or one of them just has good self-control. They have wisdom in the things they talk about. In governing a marriage, in getting to know each other. In the early stages, you explore every conversation. You talk about everything, right? You discover that there are conversations that you enjoy talking about. But it does not mean your partner is enjoying talking about them. So the topics you're going to be talking about, maybe you're talking about exes. I'll do a teaching on exes on a different day. I'll do a class on exes. You're talking about exes, you're talking about relatives, you're talking about money, you're talking about work, you're talking about everything. As you are talking, as you are getting to know each other, conversations there, they will tell you everything about your marriage. There are conversations that might be too early for you to talk about. Some conversations, it's too late to deal with them. But I won't delve into that. I don't want to discourage some of you. So, let's say I'll give a hypothetical example. Let's say you're talking, and then you discover every time you talk about a certain friend, your partner is unhappy. That means you now know that this name, this friend, is not a healthy conversation in my marriage. You now know that this person, every time they are mentioned, they flip the mood of my marriage. They flip the mood of my conversations. So if you love each other and you take time to observe each other, you can study the conversations that don't work in your marriage. Let those who want to talk about them when they talk about them. But you know this breaks my marriage. Don't talk about it. You know my husband hates this. He hates this topic. Don't talk about it. My wife hates this topic. Don't talk about it. Now, there are some topics, of course, which you have to insist to talk about because you have to deal with them. They are on the ground. They have to be dealt with. Right? Some of them, they are a once-off conversation. Let's talk about it. Let's deal with it. Let's finish it off. What happened here? What's the truth about A, B, C, D? You're talking. You're getting to know each other. So every conversation must be explored one way or the other because you're getting to know each other. You're developing this bond. You're growing your relationship, your marriage. It's growing. You must talk about everything. But now, in time, we are tempted to repeat conversations, to repeat topics. And in time, you will notice the conversations that can really mess up your marriage. You will notice them. Don't repeat them. Is it worth it, really, to talk about it? Is it worth it to bring it up? So you are not sure, right? But with time, like I said initially, because you're married, because you're getting to know each other, you must talk about everything without fail. You touch every topic, you touch about you have to talk about everything. But in time, as you go on, in time, as you are getting to know each other, there are some conversations that, you know what, you have noticed every time they are brought up, they are disturbing the flow of your ship called your marriage. Every time those conversations come up, one of you is getting angry, one of you is getting pissed off, one of you is hating the marriage. They are not necessary. Keep it away from your marriage. Don't talk about it. You had your chance when you're getting to know each other, you spoke about it, you spoke about everything. Of course, there are some cases where there's no clarity. You're saying, I need clarity here. But make sure it's worth it. Don't be just curious to look for things that will piss you off. No. Transparency is necessary in a marriage. Honesty is necessary. Trust is necessary. And trust is built by the things that are happening, basically. You know? There are things that happen and they break the trust, and there are things that happen and they build the trust. So whatever is happening, the events that happen in your marriage, the way it's flowing determines the state of your trust. Whether you have a lot of trust or the trust is shaken. It's all based on the things that happen within the marriage, the events that happen there. So, like I had said initially, watch out for the conversations there. Watch out for the conversations. If you're gonna have a healthy marriage, if you're gonna handle your marriage, watch out for the conversations that you focus on, that you deal with, that you talk about. Some of them are not necessary. Train yourself, hold your tongue, keep them out of your marriage. Some of them, with time, you mature above them. There are some conversations where, with time, you are now mature enough for those conversations, and they do not ruin anything. They are just part of the talk. Okay? So, on getting to know each other there, don't forget this. Conversations govern marriages. Now, character is proven by events or things that happen. Even in the conversations as well, the character plays a big role. It plays a big role. But character is proved by things. It's tested by moments. Remember, a person has emotions, and these emotions are triggered by moods. And these moods are triggered by moments. So there are emotions which are triggered by moods, which are triggered by events or moments. There is a constant state of your partner that you must know. My partner is talkative. My partner is quiet. My partner takes his time. My partner doesn't perform well under pressure. My partner is terrible with time. My partner is ABCD. There is a constant environment, the constant level, place. I think aura is the word. There is that constant zone where your partner is. And then there are moments, you see. So we cannot judge your partner based on moments. But these moments are there to show you the truth about your partner. Now, the character is measured by things that will be happening. For example, how does your partner respond to something you do? That's the truth about his or her character. The character is expressed or revealed in responses, in moments. You are figuring out, how does he respond when I do this? How does she respond when this happens? Believe me, in every marriage, the characters will be tested completely at 100%, one way or the other. You cannot keep pretending. You will snap into how you really feel or how you really see things. So the character there is measured by response, their reaction to things that happen or are happening. That's where we find the character. Oh, so if I do this, or if I do anything within this area that is similar to this issue, this is how they respond. This is how they feel about this. All right? Character. This character now, as it is visible, as you'll be seeing it, as you'll be experiencing it, this character, you then know who your person truly is. Then comes other people. These are relatives, these are friends, these are workmates, you name it. Everyone outside the both of you is other people. As you're getting to know each other, you must reveal, you must know how your partner responds to other people. How do they feel about your relatives? How do they feel about your friends? How do they feel about your workmates? How do they feel about your colleagues? Now, when you know how they feel, there are some friends that are worth sacrificing for your marriage. The question becomes, what is more important, your marriage or this friendship that you want to maintain? The question becomes, what has more weight to you? What has greater value to you? Your marriage or these friends of yours, these colleagues of yours? Is it really necessary to remain playing with that person if you know it can break my marriage? Is there money involved with this person? Is it a business deal? What is so important about this person that you are willing to hold on to make a brighter friendship and dim the light of your marriage? It has to be worth it if it's there. So there's always a question there in getting to know each other. The people, how your partner responds to other people, how they respond to relatives, friends, colleagues, workmates, you name it. It is a necessary course, it is a necessary moment that should be studied as you get to know each other. There are people who are key, they are important. That's your parents, your siblings, and your immediate family. You see, these a person can't wash off really. Some races can, but you can't really wash off your immediate family. Whatever happens, they are stuck with you. They are the person you are with, this immediate family. But on the friends there, is it necessary for you to keep up this friendship that you know for a fact is toxic for your marriage? Is it worth it? In getting to know each other, study what's necessary and what's not necessary. Now, while we are still on that note, you must also understand that if you don't respect your marriage, don't expect the people outside of it to respect it for you. If you don't respect your marriage, don't expect someone outside to respect your marriage. If you are as loose as they come outside your marriage, don't expect the people you are loose with to respect your marriage. If you are as lawless as they come, don't expect someone out there to come to be as lawful and respectful of your marriage. It is your responsibility to put value on your marriage or to destroy it. There is no one to blame for that. So in getting to know each other, you must also get to know yourself with your partner, to know how you truly feel about this person, how you feel about their character, how you feel about things that are gonna change and things that can't change. Because there are things that definitely will not change about your partner. There are things that you can say, you know what, we can work on changing this, and then he adjusts or she adjusts. But there are some who it's just who they are. So the question is, do you want it like that or don't you want it like that? There are things that are definite that they're gonna remain. So you now are gonna be the one who's gonna be taking it as it is or accepting it as it is. Or it's you also who's gonna say, you know what, me, I cannot handle this, me, I cannot take this. But it is your responsibility, definitely. It is your responsibility to see how you feel and how you view everything happening within your marriage. It is your responsibility. So, bearing in mind that it is your responsibility to put respect on your marriage or not, there is no one who has to take that responsibility except for you. As you grow to learn more about each other, in that journey there, it's an emotional roller coaster. It's a great emotional roller coaster. Because there are things that will happen that will trigger the deepest part of your anger or your joy or your disgust or your anger, you name it. It's an emotional roller coaster because you are now with this person officially. And because you're now officially with this person, in that zone there, in that process of being with them, if you do not handle well the moment of knowing each other, you will lose your relationship. If you are not mature enough to find ways of approaching each other with issues, you die inside and you destroy this thing that you have going on. So you must also master how to approach your husband, how to approach your wife. You must master how things are given, the kind of person you are with. You must know them. Don't talk about men are like this, women are like this. No, talk about your men, talk about your wife. Don't say men are, no, your men. Because when you are generalizing the whole concept of marriage and saying men are like this, women are like this, the problem is there are men who are not doing what your man is doing. And there are women who are not doing what your woman is doing. So don't generalize the whole thing. Study your marriage. Know your relationship. Not every man is like your man. Not every woman is like your wife. You will be shocked at the cases happening around you. So, in closing now, in this whole topic of getting to know each other, like I had mentioned earlier, there is knowing how your person is character-wise as an individual, as in within your circle, just the two of you, who he or she is. And then there's who she is or who he is to other people or with other people. There are some people who are so good, so loving, no problem, only with their partner. Beyond that, they are monsters. Not monsters as per se, but they don't want anyone in their lives. They are happy, they are at peace, they are like that. And then there are some people who are the best people to other people and they are nonsense to their couple. They are very bad to their relationship. They don't know how to respect their partner, but they're good at respecting other people. That is very wrong. Know each other. Mature your relationships. Grow them. Any conversation can be had if it's approached properly. Any conversation, you can talk about anything if you know how to approach it properly. If you approach your husband with a conversation and you mess up on the approach, the conversation is invalid. I just gave an example there. If you're going to talk to your partner, whether it's your wife or your husband, and you mess up on the approach there, the conversation can automatically become invalid. Simply because of the way you brought up the issue, the way you bring things to him. There is a way that you can bring things to your partner and you still converse and still remain sane and respectful with each other. There is a way to bring about this conversation. When you're still starting, you don't know. It's just haphazard. Everything is just happening in a jumpy way, physically, spiritually, you name it. You're just doing things. You see? You are just all over because you're still in a honeymoon phase. Yeah? You're all over. But now, as you grow in your marriage, as you spend more time in your marriage, the whole pressure and the confusion begins to settle. And you start doing things with order. The dust settles. How you see things settles. How you converse settles. You now have a proper way, a proper structure of now knowing when I approach my partner, I approach like this. When we have a conversation, we start it like this. When we want to talk about A, B, C, D, it happens like this. So it flows. It doesn't happen in a moment. No. It's a process gradually, and because you'll be growing in that space, you'll be moving in there. Like I said initially, the mask begins to fall off. Whatever they were pretending to do or pretending to be, with time it falls off. And you are stuck with the reality of who she is or who he is. So my advice would be, as you are getting to know each other, pray as well. Pray. Some of the things you're facing, they are patience away to being dealt with. Some things, they are forgiveness away to being dealt with. Some things, they are just respect away to being dealt with. Just know the pill required for that medication, for that sickness in your marriage. Not the right medication, the specific medication demanded for the problem that you are facing. Some things are literally just spending with time with each other away from being fixed. Some, they are fixed by ideas, by respect, you name it. Not the pill, the injection that works for the sickness in your marriage. Study the problem. When you know the real problem, you can come up with the real solution. As long as you're doing everything with assumption, you cannot have a solution. Know for a fact, this is the problem. When you know the problem, that's when you can know the solution. As long as you don't know the problem, you don't know the solution. So you have a person giving you a pretense answer or a pretense image. So whatever you're dealing with a pretended version of a person. So you are responding to something that is pretended. She is in a pretense mode. He is in a pretense mode. You don't know each other. So however you're responding to everything is in pretense. Until the mask falls off and the reality remains and peace begins to flow. That's how you get to know each other deeper. And as you converse, you start hearing, oh, I forgot to tell you about ABCD. They wouldn't have forgotten. They were just not sure whether to tell you or not. That's my thinking. So, get to know each other. Get to know each other as couples. Develop your friendship. Because after the romance, after the pressures of life, the only way you will make it through is to have a relationship that is beyond everything that you'll be going through. If the things you're going through are bigger than the relationship you have, it will break. So you need something bigger than just romance, because you're not always in a space of saying, I want to be active in this way. No. Grow knowing each other. Learn each other's habits. Help each other, fix each other where they can be fixing or where fixing is necessary. Grow to know each other. Learn each other. So in closing, remember that. Learn each other. In time, you grow to know each other better. God bless you.